All right. Hello, people, or everyone. I guess can't really tell who is actually going to be watching this or I guess listening to this in a sense. Um, who knows? Maybe you'll play this for your dog when you leave them to go to work or something. I don't know. But how is everyone doing? It has been a little bit since I have uploaded something to this channel. Let me see actually exactly how long it has been. Yeah, it's been about 3 weeks since I've uploaded something, which is kind of crazy. I wanted to, upload some more things, and I've kind of decided, that I want to do like a podcast. And I don't know who will listen to this. I doubt anyone would actually really listen to this. But I think it would be good to have it down the road, have like, if I wanted to listen to something about what was going on during that time in my life, it'd be a good opportunity to do so. So kind of like a vocal diary, I guess you could say. So yeah, I found this really cool program. This is actually just, you can see my mouse. This is just my background. I found this thing where you can have a basically a moving background. So I'm just screen recording. It was on Steam. I'll have to put a link in it. I forget what it was exactly called. I might be able to pull it up here. Yeah, it's not going to say exactly what it's called, but it's pretty cool. So I have that working for me. I might do a little animation to my voice. I don't know yet if I'll get around to it. A lot of these videos, it's not really the recording. I guess there is some recording that takes time, but it's more or less the sorry, I'm losing my words here. It's more or less the editing that takes the most time for me. So I guess I'm gonna have to just be motivated to do that. And I've been working quite a bit too, so it's been taking off free time. So I have a little schedule that I'm gonna have to try to follow so I don't just go ranting. But I know I said that I wanted to do some cooking videos, and I haven't really got to that point where I want to recook a recipe that I made. I've been doing a lot of crock pot recipes and seeing how they turn out, and kind of improvising and adding things according to like how they turn out. So maybe when I recreate something, I will record it. And other than that, just been working and school and keeping busy. So what I actually wanted to talk about today was a couple different things. I have a list here. Let me pull it up on my phone. Obviously, we're going to talk about fall because it is fall all of a sudden out of nowhere, and it seems like it's a little cold. It's like weird. It's either hot or it's super cold here in Michigan. So like last weekend, I went to Canada, which I will end up talking about here, and so I went to Canada and it was freezing. And Canada's not that far from me. It's about an hour or so, so it's not too bad. Give me 1 second. The bad thing about this location is my walls aren't that insulated, so if someone's walking down the hall, you can hear their entire conversation basically. But yeah, it was freezing last week, so it was like 40 degrees walking down by a river with winds, and it was just not having it. And so this weekend, it was so weird. It was like it got to be like low 50 late Saturday, and then Sunday comes around when I'm expecting it to be cold, and it's like high 60s. So it's just crazy weather right now, and I just don't know how to react almost. So I wanted to talk about a couple different things. One of the things that I wanted to get into was just my current Okay. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was just like some of the hobbies that I kind of enjoy and the things that I kind of, I guess, not look forward to, but like, I guess look forward to, but do in my free time and when I get the free time, to do it. And one of those things is, of course, I want to kind of stick with fall and, things that I do in the fall. And that's like camping. So I've really gotten into camping recently. My family, every single year, they always kind of just go on camping trips. So, not I guess not the last couple years because we've been kind of going out of our camping traditions because that's all we ever did, and we've kind of switched it up a little bit. But we always go to KOAs, which they stand for Camping of America, I believe. But they're all over America, of course, and we stayed in them in all over the place. We stayed in, I guess, we stayed in South Dakota, Wisconsin, Michigan. We've stayed in cabins that weren't KOA, but in different states like Tennessee, and we stayed in like a house in Georgia. The house wasn't camping, but like, I just really enjoy camping because you can kind of just like, I guess you don't really have to focus too much. You if you obviously don't have work and stuff, but you just chill and you go on hikes and relax. And over the summer, I actually went up to Ludington, which is on the coast of Michigan, and went camping with my girlfriend and my buddy, and we walked the Lighthouse Trail, of course, when it was 80 degrees and on sand, so it felt like 105. But I've really gotten into camping, and one thing that really sparked my interest recently is this van life stuff. And I'm not saying I would ever do van life because I'm not a minimalist at all. So, and my line of work that I want to do, it's not that way at all because you need specific outfits. Like, you need dress clothes, you also need like warm clothes, and you also need uniforms. That's not even including, my daily life. Like, I like to look decent during school, and then, or just if I'm going out, and then, if I'm going to the gym and stuff like that. So, I don't know. But the van life is very interesting to me, and, because there's this channel that just kind of came up. Her name was Janelle. I can't think of her last name, but if you search Janelle, she'll pop up because she gained like almost 2 million followers in like 2 months, which is insane. But she basically she's been living in her van for a while, and then she just decided to make a video and she's really creative at basically I'm trying to think of the wording. She's really creative at editing, so it just makes things look so cool. And everyone, apparently that's a niche right now where everyone is enjoying the van life videos. So props to her for finding, that market in the proper time. But I've always thought about, getting my own camper and having that little home away from home kind of, where you can just go and stay anywhere, because these campsites are cheap. Like one of the ones that I stayed in over the summer, where it was like, after taxes, it was like $45 for a night. So and obviously you have to then pay for food, but like, that's so cheap. And then we just hike and read a book and make tea, and it's super relaxed and chilled. And I don't know, just something about that life, and something about, like, for example, the view of my screensaver, just like walking in a hike and walking at the top of the mountains like that and looking down is just so calming, and it just really like makes you so grateful to be part of this earth and be alive and stuff. So it's just something that I've really wanted to do, and obviously right now in my life I don't have the money to purchase something like that, but eventually, I can't wait to be able to travel and hopefully go further than South Dakota is that's the furthest west I've been. But I want to go to Colorado and Washington and even Alaska one day, um, and just be able to, experience nature and all that stuff. I've been using the All Trails app a lot, and recording my hikes and stuff, and it's just so cool. The community just revolved around just hiking and being outside, and you know just enjoying life and not focusing on like technology and stuff like that. So that was kind of one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, was this van life thing. Like, so interesting, and I would never do a van. I want to do like a small camper. Like, they have the campers that look like A's, and but the thing is, I have a car right now that would not be able to pull anything, so I would have to get something a little bit heavier duty. I would love to get a truck again someday, but right now it's not smart because of I'm still paying off my car and gas mileage. I had a truck, an older truck, and it was just, geez, you filled up so much. I filled up gas for the first time, and yeah, I filled up gas for the first time in a month yesterday, and it was like $30 to fill up my tank, and that's insane. Like, I haven't driven that far. I mean, I did drive home, which is like home, which is like an hour away, like 50 miles. So that's 100 miles round trip. But other than that, I just drive to work 8 miles and drive back. So, and you get, right now I'm getting like 25 miles per gallon. So it's nice. Besides, like, going along with the fall aspect, one of the things that I love doing in the fall is going to cider mills. So last fall, it was kind of summer, I guess. It was August to the first week of January last year, so 2018 to beginning of 2019. And I was, in Florida for a semester, and it just so different. Like, I would love to go back down there and live there temporarily. I was down there working for Disney, and I'll talk more about that in probably another, recording here. But just, I love the atmosphere, and I do love the warmth and stuff. Like, it is so cold here now, but it's just different. Like, it's just so different, and it's like hard to explain unless you've come from snow and then go to sun, or vice versa. Obviously there's no snow yet, but like, it is, like, I lost for words comparison, because just the atmosphere is like, it just kind of feels like summer year round down there. Like, Halloween came and gone, and I mean, I went to the Halloween party for Disney, but then as soon as Halloween passed, and Halloween runs from August to end of October, so it runs for like 3 months, and then as soon as Halloween's passed, Christmas is basically the next day, and it's just always sunny. There's no leaves changing. Like, that's just the atmosphere, and like, the people don't even like realize they're missing something, and they don't have anything relating to like cider mills, or any, like they have orange picking. Like, you can go and pick oranges and stuff, but you can do that year round down there. It's just the weirdest thing ever. Like, I've talked to people about cider mills, and they had no clue what it was. Like, they're like, what is that? And they don't realize, like, oh, it's a place that, they have pumpkin patch, and you can go and pick apples, and, donuts and cider, get hot apple cider because it's cold out. The coldest that it ever got down there was, it did get to like low 40s one morning, but like, that was a very rare, and it's, it got to 60 by the afternoon. That was a very rare time. So it's those people, they just don't understand all the hype behind it almost. Like, I missed it. And, you know, my whole goal was after I graduated, I wanted to go back down there and, try to get maybe more schooling or just do the program again when I don't have to focus on school. And I just don't know anymore, because now that I'm witnessing fall again, it just seems like everyone's happier. And like there's already, like some Christmas aspects, which is, crazy. Everyone says, don't start Christmas until after Thanksgiving. But like, I don't know, like I worked on Thanksgiving, like a whole 8 hours, and then worked for my birthday. I did end up going out for my birthday later that evening because my friends said, you have to do something. And then for Christmas, it was the same thing. I think I worked Christmas evening, is what it was. Yeah. So the way that worked, it would have been perfect schedule, if my family was down there. I worked um, Christmas Eve morning, and then I had the night off, and then I worked Christmas evening. So it worked out perfectly where you get that, that little like 24 hours. So you'd get the Christmas evening or Christmas Eve evening where you can just like hang out with family and watch Christmas movies, put stuff out for Santa. And then in the morning, get up and have breakfast and, open presents and stuff like that. That'd be perfect for family. But, I was working 45 hours a week. Didn't even know my family existed. I mean, I called them and stuff, but like didn't even know my family existed. Like it just felt like I was such an outcaster. So it just so different living down there. I don't know what point I started at, but I just love, it's the cider mills. I just love the idea of cider mills and being able to, go on a hayride, whether it be spooky or not, or just make these like fun little events. And they're not that expensive. Like you go out, you drive out, and you go, like for example, my favorite one I just went to yesterday. We spent a total of like $30, and that included corn maze, which was $3 each person, and then the I can't think of the word, the hayride, which is another $3 per person. And the pumpkin we got was actually a really small one, which was only $2. And then the cider and stuff was actually more expensive at this one, or it was decent price, but it was like a dollar donut kind of deal. So we got that, and then the more you get, the cheaper it is. And then we also got some cider, which I think we spent like $12 on, cider and donuts. And then doing the math, you spent $12 on the hayride. So $26 for like a kind of like, a 5 hour experience of us, just walking and enjoying life and enjoying the colors and it was hot, but normally the breeze and getting lost and not worrying about things. And then, come back and then watching Halloween movies like, I went to my sister's soccer game first, which fall games, are the best. And then watching Hotel Transylvania and Addams Family was on after that. And just the atmosphere when you can actually experience the seasons is just undescribable. And if you are someone that doesn't really get to experience the seasons, I would recommend it so much, both fall and winter. Like try to make a trip or even move here, gosh. Just try to make a trip in both seasons and just see what all the hype is. Like go to a cider mill, go to a bonfire late at night, see the colors change, go in the winter, and obviously we'll talk about winter a little bit more and when it gets closer, but like it just, I can't put my tongue on it, and I'm just been kind of saying that over and over again, but that's how I feel. With that being said, I want to basically just continue with some hobbies that I end up doing in the fall or in the winter and fall because of just because of it's colder. I've been doing a lot of cooking. But the thing is, it's hard to record. Like I'm trying out new recipes. So like when I get back to um, redoing the recipe that turned out good, I'll probably record it. One of the things I really like at that cider mill actually is the tea that they have, and I'm drinking some right now. It's this. It's called. It's a white tea. It's called Pa Mutan tea or something like that, if I'm pronouncing that right. But it smelled super good. It smelled like matcha, and basically, she was saying how it's like the fountain of youth, which I thought was really funny. I'm actually gonna put some sugar in it right now. But she said it was basically the fountain of youth in tea form. She's like, I don't know if you just have to drink a cup a day or if you have to bathe in it, but so because the reason why I have it pulled up here is because it doesn't have much caffeine, which is good. A little bit of caffeine's good and it keeps you running, but too much is too much of everything's bad. And then it also says it has the antioxidants, and then it's supposed to relieve anxiety, stress, or nervousness. It's also big in magnesium, which magnesium's big, in muscle recovery, or like if you're sore, and it's hangover recovery actually too. People say that's why you have pickle juice, and it just overall helps your nervous system and lower your cholesterol and stuff, and it's pretty good. I would say it needs a little bit of something. I feel like there's different flavors, but she only had that one, but I would recommend it. I always go there and I get different teas. They have a tea shop at the place that I go, and last year I got actually I wasn't there last year, but the year before I got a lemonade zest. That was pretty good. I'm starting to like lemons more, but I've never been a really big lemon fan. I think it's just citrus in general, but I've been getting around to it. So that's one of the things that I really enjoy drinking from there. But continuing with like the hobbies that I enjoy doing, besides cooking and drinking tea, apparently, I've been trying to. Here comes I'm trying to like. I have some stories that go along with this. I'm trying to like just go into them smoothly, I've been trying to read a little bit more, and whether that be a book or even the Wall Street Journal I subscribed to recently. I've been watching some Netflix shows too. Like I've been watching, like there's a bunch of movies that are on there right now that are pretty decent. And I'll normally like watch an episode of a show. There's a documentary called like Fat Salt something. It's like a cooking show, and it just shows like the benefits of like how every food can taste good if you use these 4 proper ingredients, right? Give me one sec. Watching a little bit of Netflix with that cooking show, and I finally finished all of Family Guy from beginning to end on Hulu. So I actually started watching it on Netflix, and then once it transferred over, I bought the student deal of Hulu and Spotify, and I finished that. So I'm looking for a comedy show in there. But so I watch Netflix and Hulu sometimes when I'm available. But the thing is, there's an issue. I recently so I have an Xbox 360. The reason why I never upgraded was because I have a computer that I built that it's basically a gaming computer. It has decent specs. If you know anything about computer, it has a 1050 Ti processor, or graphics card. Sorry, people that do know computers would hate that I just said that. But so I never really upgraded, and I've only really used my Xbox. Like when my friends would come over, we'll still play like old games like Minecraft and not just Minecraft, but like Call of Duty and stuff like that. And then I would just watch a lot of um, like movies and Netflix on it and stuff like that. But recently, my Xbox is old. I bought it in seventh grade, and Xbox 360 is old. They're coming out with a new one next year, and my battery pack is just like dying. So it gets the red dot or whatever, and it gets overheated really fast. And I actually put a fan on it now, and it works like a little fan. Um, but I could buy a new battery pack for like $20 online, but this system's working fine, and it worked fine when I played, a game on there the other day ago. And but the funny thing is, okay, so my current girlfriend, there's this bet that I made a while ago when we, first started, not first started dating, but towards the beginning, like first 6 months. And I was telling her how, I want a new system. I've wanted a new system for a while. I just don't have the money to do it. Well, I actually was saving up for a system, but then I ended up not getting it. Because it's like one of those things I just can't spend the money, even though I spend I'll spend money elsewhere. Like I'll save up, like for example, this coming month I'm going to be going to all these events, and I'm spending like $200 worth in events that I'm going to, but like I can't spend it on a system that's going to last me, from seventh grade. So it's going to last me, forever. Not forever, but I'll get my value out of it. But I made this bet with, I don't even know how the bet came around. I think she actually made it with me. And she was saying, because I had this class where I got a bad first test grade, and then the second test grade was kind of like in the middle. And so in the class I had a B plus. It's like a B plus is a small range anyways. It's what, 87 to 89. So it's a small range. I had a B plus in the class going into my final exam and my final paper. Basically the paper, papers are normally easy A's for me, or high A's, especially when they're group projects. So I didn't have to worry about that. But the test, I did the math, and that if the test, basically depending on what I did on it, it was very influential. So like if I got a decent grade, my grade remained a B plus. If I got a horrible grade, it would drop to like a B minus. And if I got a great grade, I could raise it all the way up to the bare minimum for an A. So basically she said, if you get an A in the class, no matter how you do it or whatever, I will buy you an Xbox. And at the time, I'm a big Xbox person. So, I've always wanted a new Xbox, or the Xbox One. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And I ended up getting like, I think it was like a 98 or 90, 97 or 98 on the final exam. And it raised my grade to, it's like a high 93 or something. And my teacher bumped me up to an A because I was so close. So there's been this joke going on since, this is April, and now it's November, or not November, but almost November. So this joke's been going on for quite a while, of me saying, oh, so when am I getting my Xbox? And my whole thing now is all my first off, all my friends, well, most of my friends have PS4s. So like the main reason I want it is because of certain games. Like originally I wanted a PS4 because of Red Dead Redemption, because I love the first one, and the second one was PlayStation exclusive, but now it's both. But also I want to be able to play with friends, and a lot of my friends, they switched to PS4. So like my cousin and two of my best friends, they both have PS4s. But then another issue came up where they're now coming out with a new system next year. They're coming out with the Xbox Scarlet, and I think the PS4 is just going to be a PS5 because, they're so original. But it's like, do I wait or do I just buy the system? And I'm thinking I might just it sounds bad, but I might just do both because why not? Like, and get the enjoyment out of the PS4 now and play the games or whatever. And maybe with the new system, it'll be cross compatible. I know Xbox 360 and Xbox One are cross compatible, so um, but you might be asking like, oh, your girlfriend's gonna buy you, like, you're so spoiled. Thing is, the funny thing that happened is my girlfriend, over the summer I was working at a country club and she got me that job. So apparently they had this system where if you work there for a month, uh, or if your reference works there for a month, you get $50. So she got $50 and she set it aside because otherwise she never got that $50 if I didn't work there. And then there's also another system that if they work there for 90 days, you get $100. The person that the reference gets $50, and then the person that referenced you gets $100. So I'm going back next weekend to work their Halloween party, and you got to think I'll be getting paid for the Halloween party, but then also getting an extra $50, and she'll be getting an extra $100. So that's $200 right there. And I figured if I just go on Black Friday, you're gonna be able to get a PS4 for $200 with a game, especially with the new one coming out. I think I was seeing some of the deals. It's like you can get the Spider-Man one $199. So that's a good game. And obviously, I'd buy Red Dead, and I'd probably buy maybe an extra controller, extra and a mic, and I don't know what, PlayStation Plus, I think is what they call it. So that's that's something that I can look forward to. But other than like console gaming, I PC game, I play Rocket League here and there, and Stardew Valley, but I haven't played that in 2 weeks because of how busy I am. But one thing I did want to talk about and kind of going with my hobbies was the reading. So I was trying to figure out how to wrap this around, but reading the Wall Street Journal. Oh my God, I don't know what was so hard about getting the Wall Street Journal here. Like, I've never had any issues. Like, I live on campus, and it's a campus apartment, but it's still set up kind of like a dorm, I guess. But we have like a hallway, and then in the front you have like your mailboxes, which are keys, and the mailman has a master key to open them all. And I don't know what the struggle was with Wall Street Journal. Like, I put my normal address that I always put in, like for Amazon, for anything else, and they were just throwing it outside. Like, I would just see it outside. I'm like, oh, okay. At first, I didn't know it was mine. I just saw, Wall Street Journal, and I kind of thought. But then, like the next day, I saw it again, and, the next day it wasn't even there. And then I got one delivered. Apparently, someone turned one into the office. So that's how I figured out, it was actually mine. And so apparently they're just like lazy or something. I don't know. But they need specific like entrance, or they have their own deliverer and they need specific entrance. And so, I signed up for this and paid money for this, and emailing this person like, hey, this is happening, and like it's basically I had to do my own problem solving. Like they were like, oh, well, is there like a specific like entrance? I was like, no. Like, yeah, there's a key, but like if it's the mailman, it's like delivering mail. Didn't And like, oh, well, you can have it delivered through the mail. It's separate. And I was like, I didn't know that. Like, you should have clearly just said that. Like, I had no clue that they had their own carrier. So I missed like 2 weeks worth, and never once did they mention, like, oh, we have our own special carrier that needs, access to your building, or you have to forward it through the mail or stuff like that. So it just really annoyed me. And, I emailed them saying, I wish I would have known that before, and they just never replied. And I've kind of ran into a lot of poor customer service recently. One of the things was I signed up for Sam's Club right before um, school because there's one right down the road and they have cheap gas, and I like to buy things in bulk, or not always bulk, but just things cheap basically. But so I signed up on this thing called Uni Days, and it was like, oh yeah, if you sign up through here for Sam's Club, you get a $15 e-gift card for Sam's Club. I'm like, all right, cool. That kind of convinced me to get it. And so it's emailed me and he said, oh yeah, you should receive it within 2 to 3 weeks. You know, 2 to 3 weeks pass, and then once I get to the month mark, I email Uni Days. I'm like, hey, where's my stuff? And they reply, in 2 days, which isn't bad. And they say, oh, our part's done. It's through Sam's Club now. And I was like, okay. So I find a customer support email for Sam's Club because I'm not talking on the phone. Plus, I am not available during their operation hours because I normally don't get home. I leave the house at 9 and don't get home till 7. So, and it took them 3 weeks to reply, and I apparently emailed them on my wrong email. It's the same email address, just one's at Yahoo and one's at Gmail. So, you think you can just substitution property, you should be able to do it. But they, asked for my member account, my address, or my zip code, and I gave it to them. And, then they said, was the gift card $10? I was like, no, I think it was 10. They're like, can you provide a screenshot? Like this wasn't like a quick conversation. They were reply like every 4 days. So, and I was like, yeah, and I sent them a screenshot of the offer from Sam's Club website. And then what do they reply? They reply, this is, after 2 months, because this was like 2 days ago. They reply, oh, we need more information. We need you to call this number, which is like 800 number, or you go into the store to just, verify security reasons for our security reasons. And I'm like, what do you need? I've given you literally all my account information. What do you need to verify? And it's like the customer service representative just pushed me along. She basically handed me off because I'm going to have to restate. If I go in person, I'm going to have to restate what the issue was because they have no clue. This is some girl in New Mexico. Like, they have no clue about this conversation that I had. So I'm going to have to go in and restate my issue and do it all over again. And it's like, what is the point? Like, it took you 3 weeks to reply to me originally, and then it took over a month of conversations back and forth, basically. Why didn't you just say that at the beginning that I had to call this number? Or like, why would you ask me all this other it just doesn't make sense to me. So I told her, I wrote this salty email saying, just let you know, when I call this number or go in person, I will be asking how I can make a formal complaint to corporate because this is ridiculous. Like, I don't even care about the money at this point. I've worked at Disney, where it's all about customer service. And the thing is, what's $15 to a company that makes $1 billion a year probably? It's just ridiculous. And the thing is, I don't know. Maybe that's what you get for getting cheap prices, is you get cheap customer representatives. But so that's an issue that I had recently that I wanted to talk about and get a little salty recently. Another thing that I recently did, so I'm gonna be probably trying to wrap this up here soon. But another thing that I wanted to talk about was Canada. So I mentioned that I went to Canada 2 weekends ago, and then I went the weekend before that as well. And so I went the weekend before for a concert, and this is my first time going to Canada since I was like 8 years old or something like that. Something like really young, and we went to Niagara. And I don't honestly remember anything. I don't even remember the car ride. I remember like a Hershey thing that was there. I don't know. But it just people are it's not a lie that people are so nice there. Like, we drove 4 hours or whatever, try to sleep in this van that we drove there, and instantly we show up. Like we were going to see some Shakespeare plays at Stratford Festival. Well, two Shakespeare plays, I guess. And then there's another different play, but the first thing we do, we get out of the van and we walk down this alleyway, and we're like saying kind of out loud, we're like, okay, where do we want to go to eat? And like Googling it, and the first thing is this lady, stops by and like says, oh, are you guys visiting? Like, yeah. And she's like, you're looking for somewhere to eat? And we're like, yeah. And she like, just starts suggesting things and asked us, why we're here. And so we told her we're here for the plays, and she said, oh yeah, one of the plays, this Billy Elliot is a great play, you're gonna love it. And we're like, awesome, I'm so excited. And yeah, just like positive everywhere you go. Like, and everyone seemed pretty nice, and the culture was similar, but like everyone just seemed so much happier. And I don't know, that trip was pretty happy, and the plays were great. We went to see Othello, and everyone said that was their favorite, but I like the old set pieces, and they used like kind of like a more modern where the set didn't move and they had projectors. And everyone knows Othello's a tragedy, and I'm not a really big tragedy person, because I mean, like, TV wise, I guess I like some crime and stuff like that, and like murders, but like not in Shakespearean style. So I guess, but the other plays were the best. We watched Billy Elliot, which was about during like when all the coal miners went on strike back in the World War II era. I can't think of the year. World War II era. And Billy Elliot, they're trying to raise their kids to, be able to fight and resist, and he wants to basically dance. And the way that he comes upon it is he was going to boxing classes, but one day he was super late and missed it, and a dance class was after, and the instructor, said, leave or join. And so he joined and loved it, and it was natural. And then so that one was really good. It was a musical, and I'm normally not a musical person, but it was great, and the set was great. But the set for Merry Wives of Windsor, which is a Shakespeare comedy, was even better. That one's a more wholesome, like, family, I guess, where like this guy tries to pursue two wives that are in the town. They're both obviously both married, and they aren't the cheating type, and they find out that he wrote the same letter, so like they kind of like manipulate him and get back at it. Not like mean, but like, oh shucks, I can't believe you made a fool of me, not something that's like gonna like ruin him forever. But it was a good trip. And obviously the kilometers per hour, where it's 100 kilometers, threw me off, because that's different. And how their gas works is cents per liter, so there's about 4 liters in a gallon, so their prices for gas is like four something a gallon, which is crazy. But I guess if you go to California, it's like $5.50 right now. So, but other than that, I've just been rambling about how everything's going and how life is, and wanted to talk about the van life and camping and fall. Sorry, I'm just like, feel like I'm just recapping everything. And like some complaints that I had with customer services. There's a lot more that's going to be happening though. The month's ending. November, there's some things going on, but December, it's going to be a busy month, especially with Christmas. But there's a lot more going on, and I want to try to do this weekly or so, get the time to go in and record some things, try to edit and stuff. But I guess we'll see. And next week, it's Halloween, so I'm gonna try to maybe get something up for Halloween and talk about past Halloweens. I have a good story about that. But other than that, I hope you people and dogs and cats alike, any anyone and everything enjoyed this. If not, I'm sorry. I know I can be talk and ramble, but that's the whole point of this. Is there's some structure, but at the same time, no structure. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this, and I hope that whenever this goes out, whenever you even hear this, see this, listen to this, I guess it's the same as hearing, you enjoy it, and you have a great day, a great evening, a great morning, a great week, weekends, year, month, I guess month, year, life. Hopefully you'll come back and listen to some of my other stuff. But yeah, until then, I hope you enjoyed, and we will talk to you the next time. Alrighty.